Okay, we're going to actually tie a lake nymph today. Now I'm again a bit fussy about the hooks I use here, remembering in a lake nymph they're quite small, they're slim, so the shape of the hook is very much going to influence the shape of your flies. So pay particular attention to your hooks. I like the Hanek H200BLs for these. They're perfect shape for lake nymphs. Now to start off with, we're putting in a tail, and this one's going to have a tail of Coq de Leon. It's a ripper product for tying tails out of, because you get that sort of speckled nature in it. It works really nicely. So black thread for a start, 8/0. Just about all my tying I do with 8/0 because it doesn't bulk up the fly too much, particularly on these smaller flies. And let's pull off a pinch of the tail. And now you want your tail to be about 3/4 of the length of the hook. So put that in, and again always noting that I'm always lashing down onto the top of the hook so that tail's not wrapping around and we're keeping a nice even body underneath. Just cut off that bit there. Then we put in our copper wire. Nothing remarkable about this fly, it's very much a standard fly, but the important thing with lake nymphs, it's all about proportion, and I must admit I do see some nymphs where you wonder about the proportions at times. The proportions are wrong, or the fly itself is too bulky. Remembering that most of what a trout eats subsurface is no more than 1/2 inch long. So we want to keep our flies, really quite slim and small. In this I'm using a blended possum fur, and for the main part of the body I'm going to actually dub this on quite tightly because I want this to be quite slim. So a bit of wax, dub that on there quite tightly, and coming forward. That's it, maybe just thickening up a little bit as we get to the middle. Now, then we come back through in the opposite direction with our copper wire. That's locking that all down. And we'll just tie that off. Okay, then we get to our scub back. Now, there's different types. I'm using the hen's body stretch here, but there are different types available, and I use the 3mm version. And I'm going to tie that in with the dull side facing up, because then when we fold that back over, we're actually going to have the shiny side is going to become the wing case. Now, most books will tell you that you need your proportion about 40% wing case, 60% body. But that fails to take into consideration the thickness of the tail coming out. So I tend to actually proportion, I like to have it down close to halfway. Look, try that at home and see what you think, because when you take the tail into consideration, that actually adds volume to the nymph. So looking at that, it's about halfway, and I think that looks about right. And then we're going to put in some more possum dubbing. And all my nymphs for lakes I fish exactly the same way. None of these are actually weighted, you'll notice, because they don't need to be for rivers, for lakes, beg your pardon. But I don't dub that on quite as tight. And again, I prefer to start with a little, and I can actually add more should I wish. In this case, I'm going to put a little bit more on. You can always add a bit more. It's easier to add more than try and take it off. Oop. Going very well there. There we go. That's forward to the head. Now, then the trick is a little tool to help tease out some of this dubbing. Because what I want to have these are looking like the legs. They create the life and the movement in the fly. So again, stroking that all sort of down and back, and then we bring our scub back over the top, like that. Now all the wing cases, irrespective of the colour of the fly that I'm tying in, all my wing cases are black, with the exception of course of, unless I'm tying in a flashback. And we finish that. I'll finish this one off with a little bit of head cement. Just helps to neaten up the fly a little bit. And again, if there's any fibres in there that are a little bit too long, just go through and break them off, if that want to break off for me. So I just pull off the excessively long ones, and we'll just put a little bit of, whoop, that came out pretty quickly, didn't it? Rub it off a bit, but that'll just seal that head. And that's your lake nymph. And again, I do the same style, whether it be in chocolate browns, clarets, lighter or darker. But I find that medium possum is a very good way for me to start on most of my lake nymphs.
This film is proudly brought to you by the Fly Fisher in Melbourne and the flyfisheronline.com, where you'll find everything to tie the lake nymph and a whole lot more.